Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Hotel Tech Innovators and Influencers, the show that talks about, yeah, you got it, hotel tech innovators and influencers. I'm with our friend Michael Frankel. I'm Glenn Hausman. So great to see you, Michael. I love these conversations that we're having with such cool people in our business.
Great time of year to do this. It's a ho hotel tech conversation today. But yeah, listen, we were just talking about this, right?
Yep.
2022 is coming to an end. Some would say mercifully, some would say in a big bang way.
Yep.
2023 is ahead, and everybody's thinking about where are we going. So let's have the conversation. Innovation is the centerpiece as it continues to be, right?
Yeah, it sure is. And one of the things that we've been talking about is we've taken a great survey of folks in all different parts of our industry who are really helping affect what is happening in the future when it comes to hospitality technologies. And I'm excited today because we're going to be speaking with a CEO of a major hotel brand. So we're going to get a totally different kind of a look at it and add a new dimension of perspective, I think, Michael.
Right. I mean, we've had investors and
Mhm.
we've had, sort of the high level influencers who are taking it from where they are.
Yep.
Let's take it to the ground, right? Let's take it to where things are really happening at the property level and for a major brand. And who better to do that than Rob Palleschi, who is with us today. Hello, Rob.
That's right. Rob
How are
Palleschi,
ya?
CEO of G6 Hospitality. So great to see you, Rob. How's it going?
Thanks so much, Glenn, Michael. Great to be here. But I actually think we already had to drop the mic with this. What was it? Hotel, right? Was that tech? Was that hotel?
I make stuff up. It's what I do. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But happy holidays in advance, and thanks for being with us. And you're in a warm place, I think. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, down in it's a little balmy down in Dallas, a little gray and overcast today, but it's
I heard it was like
still in the
86
60s.
yesterday.
I'm sorry?
I heard it was like 86 yesterday or something crazy
No,
like
I didn't
that.
think it get that. It was warm. I didn't think it got that high, but it's still it's not cold like it is up north. So I'm happy.
Yeah, well, thanks for tuning into our show all about weather. But Rob,
Yes.
I'm gonna change up the topic here. I want to talk about hotel technology right now. Let's start with the broad kind of pictures. What are you thinking, generally speaking, as a CEO of a hotel company, the levers you need to pull in order to create a relevant, important, and successful tech enterprise at G6?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now with the, obviously the world is shifting a bit, right?
Mhm.
We're in a little bit of uncertainty, a little unsettled market. So which priorities have been changing. But for us here at G6, it's still that kind of twofold approach. It is what works at the grassroots level. What is working for our owners, our property managers every day to help them do better? Simply put.
Right.
And at the same time, what do we need as a brand to help guide them? Provide the right data, provide the right tools, the right resources for them to execute. So it's that two-pronged approach that has served us well over the many years. We're not looking at all kind of crazy newfangled things. It is really drill in more on what we have and do better.
So Rob, the tech stack is a big place, right? I mean, you got RMS, you got PMS, CRS, CRM, right? Back of the house, front of the house, revenue, guest operations, right? Spans the whole, and coming out of the pandemic, as you said, there have been shifts in different directions. Is there an area you can pinpoint? Is there a piece of the hospitality tech stack that looks especially interesting, valuable to you right now as you're providing value to your owners and franchisees?
Yeah, I think, look, that whole laundry list that you just said, all those pieces and parts of that tech stack. I mean, for me, the immediate word that comes to mind is like fragmented, right? And disconnected and, siloed. Those are the words that like come to my mind. It's like,
Right.
how do we align those? And, I joke, we all have a PMS, our property management systems, but our property management systems are solely focused on revenue that we collect at, the whole check-in process.
Right.
When are we going to integrate that to where a property management system is going to real time provide an owner or a property manager with a cost per occupied room, real time provide them with housekeeping efficiencies? When are we going to get there? And I think it's available. I think we've just got to figure out how do we, put all this data together and what is important and what's going to be beneficial for those owners. And that for me that's kind of that holy grail next thing that we need to do, particularly in a market like this, where you've got rising costs of labor, you've got rising costs of energy and, all kinds of challenges out there for an owner and an operator. It's like, how do we make it more efficient using the tools that we already have?
Are we getting closer, Rob? I mean, we've been, we've been talking about sort of the platform, about the integration for years and years. It feels like the pandemic was a moment that shined a bright light on this, right? And sort of said, hey, folks, hoteliers, it's time. Are we getting closer? Are we making progress?
I think we're getting, I know we're getting closer, and I know we're making progress. There's a lot of smart companies, a lot of smart people out there working on things like this. For me, I've been a strong advocate of our partners at Hotel Key, right? Addie and Fareed. And they're not only are they great guys with great technology, but the fact is they're people that I can pick up the phone and I can call and I can talk to, and I can run ideas like this past them and say why and how come and how do we. So that engagement, that interaction, to be able to speak with them directly versus a kind of a big company behind the scenes where you're working through hierarchy, for me, is really critically important. And I think that engagement, that direct connect, will enable things that you talk, that you're saying to actually happen. And because together we can solve, have discussions like this. And I think the other thing is that will help us is it may sound a little odd, but I like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of ego stepping out of business, stepping away from the technology. Ego that says, I have to own this myself. I have to be the master of my own destiny. I have to create on my own. The ego is like stepping back saying, hey, let's look at what other solutions out there. Let's look at how others are doing things. And you know what? It's okay if somebody else is using Hotel Key. I don't care that they're going to make Hotel Key better. It's going to help my business. So I love that ego is being removed.
Glenn, you're the ego man in this partnership, right? I love what Rob is saying here, right? Ego. Yeah. Speak.
No, it's great. First of all, I want to say, I've been trying to say this for a while, not just on this show, but every time I hear tech stack, I think that's something I got to get at the Taco Bell drive-thru at 3 a.m. You know what I mean? But
a gordita.
Yeah. But I love what you're talking about, that you don't feel you need to do it all necessarily on your own, by having great partners out there. And even if they're working with other customers, that gives them the resources to help you better. I would say it's akin to that, the cluster effect you get in like Las Vegas or something. The more casinos that they have, the more people come. It's the same thing in technology. The more that they're able to get more resources, the more they're able to create great solutions for you. It sounds like what you're saying, but it also sounds like you're saying you're comfortable with evolution rather than a wholesale revolution of what you're doing over there. At the beginning, you're talking about what I think was moving small percentages at a time, which will reinvent everything and, in due course. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's exactly spot on. That's exactly right. I mean, and I think our role here from the brand standpoint is to find those data points, is to understand those needs, and to incrementally move the business to help facilitate that, to help serve those needs. These whole scale changes are costly, time consuming, risky. So it's this, you must incrementally improve.
Is that what sets G6 apart a little bit, Rob? Just the ability to be a little bit more agile, a little bit more flexible, quicker to evolve. And a second part to that question, at the end of the day, you're serving the franchisee, right? So you're staying really close to the franchise community and kind of taking your direction on this stuff, right?
Absolutely. And trying to, and if it works at the grassroots level, right? If it works at the property and if it's making the property better, then that's how it should boil up, bubble up. Rather than us ministering from afar and pushing down, what works, at the grassroots level. And, and it's in talking with the property managers and talking with owners, it's things along the lines of, we have all these great forecasting tools, right? And you've got all this data coming out of the property management system and these algorithms that work for revenue management, et cetera. Yet they then have to stop. They have to look at their forecasts on a piece of paper, and then they have to manually decide what's their inventory, what do they need to order for sheets and terry, and and it's like, how do we integrate that? How do we just take that pain point out, that friction point out, and just facilitate that? And to anybody else out there, it's gonna be like, oh, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Why spend any time? But if we can figure out a connection between, our tech stack and HD supply, by example, and solve that, and an owner can just all of a sudden get a printed inventory, be like, okay, yes, approved on his iPhone, and we've saved somebody a half hour. Hey,
it's like you get a little note. Hey, it's Terry time, and you push yes, and then that's it.
Yeah, and that works. My wife's name is Terry, so it's always Terry time, in around our house.
Rob, you wrote a great piece a year or so ago, published in one of the hotel trades, which I think had an example that really brought that to life, about sort of being able to identify problems quickly, property level, and then translate that into results and actions that you can take on the company level to move things forward. Do you remember that one? Can you share that one with us a little bit?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for saying that I wrote a great piece. I think you're the first, and I hope
I do want to say he was contractually obligated to say that, Rob.
There's a bunch of lawyers scrambling behind the scenes saying, "Can you say that?" No, thanks for that. No, I do remember. I do recall the article, and again, it said it is. How do we use the data that we get centrally to look across the entire landscape and see where the opportunities and needs exist? And then how does that work at the property level? And again, I've been seeing, and everyone's been seeing, the struggle out there for labor. Everyone out there is experiencing the struggle with the rising costs of labor. So for us, it's like, how do we take this data that we're getting from forecasting, from the property management systems, all that real-time data, how do we take that and help a property run a more efficient housekeeping operation? How do we help them run a more efficient front desk? And what are those data points that are necessary? Arrival and departure times. We have a lot of walk-ins at our property. We still have, almost 50% of guests still just walk right in. What times are they doing that? And can we help a property from a scheduling standpoint, and help support that? And so it's taking that data and what will work at the property level. But then it's also, again, kind of checking our egos, going back to owners, going back to property managers and saying, is this going to be helpful? If we provide this, is this going to be helpful? I want to make sure that it's not just something because, I'm bored on a Friday afternoon. that, that it's, I think it's a good idea. I want to make sure that it works and, at that level. So, but again, I don't know that our properties are looking at it like that every day. And so I think it's our job is to identify those things because we have all the data, we have the landscape, we have the industry comparisons, and take a bigger view of it, that we should be able to say, this is what we think is going to be important.
So, I mean, I'm hearing, and then Glenn, I want to let you jump in also, because I know you've got questions, but I'm hearing sort of two kinds of collaboration from you, Rob, right? I'm hearing one, that there needs to be a collaboration among providers, right? And that just because, someone else is using Hotel Key or another provider doesn't mean you can't, and doesn't mean you can't bring solutions. But then I'm also hearing a collaboration that needs to happen between franchisor and franchisee, right? And you need to get the information flowing both ways too. So sorry to be very kumbaya, but collaboration somehow seems to be the order of the day moving forward to make
it absolutely is. And I think it's, we can't operate in a vacuum. And, I'm blessed with an amazing, technology team. Brent and, the whole team are really great partners, not only for me, but for the ownership community. And they engage them, they have direct conversations. They then translate those discussions with, Hotel Key or Above Property. They bring all the parties together to talk. And I think what we've seen out there in all these conversations over the past number of years is our owners are more in tune to technology than they've ever been. They understand it, they use it, and they want to use technology to make their properties better, more efficient, and make more money. So, I think it's how we put everything together, and it's got to be collaboration. Yeah.
So let me ask you this then, Rob, if you're talking about those are their priorities, what are some of the specific categories of technology that these owners are thinking about as the solutions in order to help get that deeper level of connection to the data that's coming through the property?
Mobile. Everybody wants everything, on their mobile app. And, we've got a great mobile app for booking, easy booking for our guests and all of that. We're extending it now to enable our guests for, different experiences, if they need access to, to food and beverage and things like that, we're going to expand that. But more importantly, they want it at their fingertips, the, more functionality to, to whether it's manage rates and inventory, more data coming through beyond, the number of in-house guests, the number of out-of-order rooms, the revenue. They want to just follow it all the way through. How much cash just went into the bank? What's, how much credit card receivables are out there? All of that via the mobile device. That is for us. We're hearing more and more about that. And the other thing that we're hearing more about from our owners is it's never publicized out there too much, but all hotel owners, regardless of the individual owner, all the way up to the institutional owner, wants to provide a great experience for the guests. They really genuinely do. So they want guidance on that. How do we help take the friction out of that process? How do we enable them to provide an excellent experience for guests? And for that is the more information they have about the guest, the more information they have about the need, the stay occasion. Is it one night? Are they going to be there for several nights? Is it, how many people? That more of that information, can help improve that experience. But we don't talk enough about the fact that our owners are really committed and invested in this industry, and they want to do good. They want to provide a great experience, and it's a challenge out there. And we've got to help.
Right, but there's also the challenge going the opposite way of too much data. Right, if you have so much of it, it almost becomes unbearable, and it could cause the same as not having any data. So, yes. How are you working through trying to figure out that right balance to give people what they need, but not all of the stuff that they don't need.
Yeah, that's the job up over here of the team, right? They've got to keep going through this data. I can't find this data lake. I keep looking. I'd like a lake house. Data lake sounds really nice. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is.
I think George Clooney has a house over there.
Oh, he does. Oh, that's I can't afford it then. But it is the team has to take all those interactions with owners. They have to have those ongoing conversations and then come back, take this view of this landscape of data that we have and what is digestible bites, and what will actually deliver, results that can be replicated, can be executed, et cetera. So it's incumbent on the team to do that.
Right. Really what you're talking about is delivering actionable insights.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I like that. Actionable insights. I will use that.
Excellent.
Wow. Glenn Houseman starring in Actionable Insights.
At the lake house.
Yes. The world's saddest action film.
I like it. So Rob, what, Glenn's asked a very broad question, right? About, all the global data. Let me take it to the other extreme. If there was one innovation you could identify that you think would help push the business forward, your business forward, your franchisee's business forward in 2020, what is it, right? Is it robots? Is it solving the PMS conundrum? Is there a single thing you could think of that says, if I could provide more value to my franchisees by doing this, that would be a great innovation?
I always used to joke that if we could just forecast Easter, our job is done. We can never ever forecast Easter. We all, no matter where you are, what business Easter you come. Wow, it's a surprise. For me, it's taking that information through the property management system, taking all of that data and helping streamline and identify efficiencies, at the property level. Again, ordering, perhaps scheduling, those types of activities. I think that's, some are going to just dismiss it as like it's not a moon landing that we should focus on or anything like that. I think it's just one more pain point, one more that we should help remove for a property manager. And those property managers out there are doing triple duty, right? They're not only running and operating their properties and motivating their staffs, but they're working the front desks, they're working housekeeping, et cetera. They don't have the time to focus on some of this routine activities. And I think we can automate that. That for me, I think would be helpful. And again, I have the luxury of being at a smaller, while a big company, while a big brand, it's one of the smaller ones in the scheme of things, right? I'll leave it to my learned colleagues to do the moon landing. For me, if I can just solve this automation of scheduling and save, again, a property manager perhaps an hour a month, that's a huge win for me.
Hey, Rob, it sounds like to me what you're saying is, listen, most of us practically in our lives, we don't need to get to the moon, but we do want our flight to be on time. Right.
Yes,
and that's kind of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. So, Rob, when you're thinking about technology and stuff like that, your opinions may not go along with 25% of the folks within the franchise pool out there, because you're always going to get that 20% that love it and 20% that hate it. It's the law of humanity, right? How do you try to bring some folks along to say, hey, this is really where we need to move. This is the direction we have to head into?
Yeah, I still go with the, Spock, the Spock theory, the good of the many outweigh the good of the one or the few.
I thought you were going to go with the Obi-Wan one, was it? You will like this technology.
No, but yeah.
I thought we were George Clooney. What happened?
Exactly. I go old school Star Trek. No, you know what? It's conversations, it's dialogue. All the owners out there get it. They're rational. They understand. What no one likes out there are surprises,
Mhm.
particularly costly surprises. And
Yeah.
so if we're providing more tools and resources at no cost, or very, very little cost that they're going to find the savings, then they're supportive again, but no surprises with it. It's rolling out more housekeeping tools, maintenance tools. How do we better get our properties on, regular routine maintenance? How do we get rooms out of it, back into inventory from out of inventory, those types of things. They just don't like surprises. So that 20%, they're all rational. They all understand the big picture and the end game. You just have to communicate.
And
Right.
Rob, you made a really good point too in speaking about this, right? we're dealing with now a new generation of franchisee, right? This is not 1990 AHOA anymore, right? This is a new young generation, tech savvy. They want stuff fast. They want it mobile. They want it integrated. They want it interactive, right? And it's up to the tech providers, but also the brands to keep up with that, right?
Yep.
And help them lead in that direction.
Absolutely.
Rob, in your category, what is it the guests are really looking for from technology?
I think it's a couple things. One, it's our our guests, particularly in economy lodging, are, again, they're that overlooked hero that we recognized during COVID, but we're
Mhm.
forgetting about again, right?
Right.
It's the truck driver,
Mhm.
it's the rail worker, right? Imagine if the country went on strike, right? It's
Right.
that rail worker, it's the farmer, it's the factory worker, it's the first responder, it's those individuals. They're moving, right? They're moving. A hotel stay for them is coming out of their own pocket, right?
Yep.
And it's just, they need a clean, comfortable place to spend the night. And so one, the ease of booking, to be able to book one touch on your
Yep.
mobile device as you're moving from A to B is critical. That's
Mhm.
that's that's important to them. Knowing that you're going to get the best rate, they don't have to shop around, knowing
Yep.
that they don't have to go and pick all these different room categories, streamline it. Don't put a bunch of rooms up there, make it easy. That's number
Again,
one.
remove friction.
Right? Remove the friction. Correct. Number two is decent technology in the guest room, right? Give, access to to let them bring their own content, or give them enough, channels to be comfortable, but that just everything working, right? Basically, that's it from a tech standpoint. They're not looking for a whole lot.
Right.
They're looking for clean, comfortable, and affordable is the first priority, and then how do you book? Is that easy? And then when I get to the room, do I have a good experience?
Right.
Can I get a TV that's got ESPN?
Right.
Can I watch the football game, the baseball game, World
Yeah.
Cup?
Right. Keep it real simple. And I wish I wish other brands had that sense of clarity that
Right.
you have. I think that with all these fabulous gewgaws that we have out there, we have a tendency to want to adopt technologies and things that aren't necessarily on point with satisfying our customers, either the guest or the franchise owner, because we get carried away. So how do you keep that laser focus to make sure you don't stray from what you just said?
Yeah. Look, you just got to. I think it just boils down to common sense. I
Mhm.
mean, we do. We are like everyone else. We stray. Our egos do get in the way, and we're like, wow. Imagine the energy efficiency if we could if we could connect our PTAX to the you put the key in. I'm like, come on, guy. No, let's just focus on the basics. You just got to just check your ego. Just common sense. Clean, comfortable, affordable has
Right.
been our guiding light for going on 61 years. And if it doesn't fit into those categories, then we really need to question it. And again, we've got great owners out there that are really true partners, that are
Mhm.
invested, that'll give their time to the brand, that'll take calls, that'll provide us with the right guidance. And if we get, a little bit off the rails, they won't hesitate to smack us back in line. Justifiably so.
Yeah. That great. I love it. Michael?
So, how does it look in 2023, Rob? I mean, this is a show about hotel tech and innovators, but it that's influenced by the general direction of the industry, what people have to spend, and how the unsung heroes will be traveling, what they will be doing. How does 2023 look for you from G6 perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, I would preface it by saying it's, that all the technology leaders that I know are business people first. They're great business people, and so they understand the whole landscape. In many cases, they have a better view of the entire global landscape from a business, perspective than many others, who tend to be myopic. So, from those tech leaders, they see what's happening out there. They see what's going on, this uncertainty. They understand that there's a little bit of perhaps a little revenue challenge around the bend. So they'll use their tech acumen to help us. But for us at G6, we're looking at, another really solid year. We're forecasting, I'm not shy about it. Maybe it's high, maybe it's low, I don't know, but we're forecasting a RevPAR improvement of about 3.5% for next year. We're seeing a nice balance of occupancy growth versus, and rate growth. We, like everyone else, has pushed rate over the last couple of years, post COVID. Our occupancy really always stayed pretty strong, even during COVID. Now we're seeing some occupancy lift. And I think that is part of the fact that there is some uncertainty out there. There are cost pressures, and when there are cost pressures, people then tend to gravitate to economy lodging and, mid-scale. And so to save that dollar. And so, for us, we're forecasting a little bit more occupancy, a little bit, so we think it's going to be a pretty good year from a business perspective. That said, we still are concerned with the rising costs, the challenges for labor, and need to identify and help identify more efficiencies to ensure that, profitability remains high. So that's kind of what we're looking at next year.
Tech and innovation is part of the key, right? I mean, that's, we're never about replacing people, but if there are tasks you can productively give to technology and deploy your people in even more productive areas, right? That's a dictionary definition of efficiency.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you make sure that you're up to date with what you feel are the technologies you should be paying attention to?
My team. Yeah. My team they'll point me in the right direction. They'll keep me informed.
Yeah.
They're always looking at everything that's happening. Our big project that we've undertaken now that'll take us through next half of the first half of 23 is really moving over to Salesforce to help us better aggregate the data from a couple of different different groups right now, help us better mine that, help us better understand, and so they'll keep me on the forefront, whether that's regular meetings with the tech team, whether that's a regular monthly update from our CISO, who provides me with all the updated data security, what the concerns are, what the risks are out there. They do a really great job, and then learning from everyone else. This show is huge in keeping people informed, giving people a different perspective, giving people something else to think about. And again, it's going to advance the business. It's going to move us up, a notch, and the rising tide effect, right? We'll all move up. So, you guys are helpful.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. You've just booked a return engagement. We appreciate
it. Thank you. Thank you. The usual riders, please. No green M&Ms.
I'm sorry about that unpleasant list last time. I know how adamantly you hate those.
Let's turn it over to the ego part of the I mean, what Rob says about 2023, how things look Q1. I mean, you're talking to CEOs all the time on your No Vacancy podcast, right? I mean, we have validation there. I mean, is that how things look heading into the new year?
Yeah, I think that is exactly how things are looking. I think people are hopeful, but also concerned, and I'm not really quite sure how much of the concern is coming from the general consensus that's out there, and maybe a lack of critical thinking behind it, or it's bang on. I always find that whenever people talk so much about how bad things are going to be, they never seem to be that way. I think natural human tendency is to pull back and assess. And a lot of times that could create the situation we're trying to avoid, right? But each individual human is still going to continue to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the future. Does that make sense to you guys?
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it definitely does. I think we just have to always be, always just put like we have to obviously represent our businesses, and we always want to tell the most positive story and et cetera. But at the end of the day, there's got to be the backdrop of a little bit of common sense. I mean,
Yep.
I've yet to meet a company that's, rolled into Q4 that says, hey, I want to increase my travel spend
Yeah,
in
right.
Q4, right? I've yet to meet that company. Or anyone that actually starts January 2nd, hitting the ground running and spending dollars, right? Everybody
Yeah.
pauses a bit. So I think
Yeah.
if we're just a little bit, unless you're at CES, right?
Yeah.
I think you just want to use a little bit of, just be a little bit practical with some of the things and temper those expectations. And let's not get ourselves caught up in a forecasting quagmire where we've, we've set the wrong expectation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Rob, I'm not going to ask you to forecast, but
I feel like a forecasting quagmire would be a great David E. Kelly show back in the 80s and 90s.
You're full of good media Hollywood references today.
As long as they're before the year 2000. Yeah.
But look, back to your comment, Rob. You cited inflation, you cited labor, right? These are the obvious sort of two twin bogeymen impacting the industry. What else, right? If there's what are you watching right now to help you figure out what 2023 is going to look like, how it might evolve? Is the Fed? Is it interest rates? What should we all be looking at to try to figure out how the year will evolve?
I'd love to say the Fed because it sounds so like really smart. Well, I'm watching the Fed, but thankfully for me, I'm blessed because I've got like a lot of smart people behind me.
Yeah.
I'm just focused on just a couple of things really that I'd love to understand. I don't think it may not impact 23, but at least could be a path. Is one. Are we going to, as a country, address immigration? Because we need staff, we need resources, and it's tough out there, especially when you're talking about some of the activities that we do, as everyone knows in this industry. It's difficult, right? Are we going to address that? And the second thing is, I'd like a better understanding of where are we with this infrastructure bill, right? This $1 trillion bill that was so, with all this hoopla and, notoriety, there was, we got passed, but now it's gone silent. And so where are we with that? What is going to happen? And is that something we need to investigate at the federal level, the state level? Where are we going to start to see these dollars come through? Because that would benefit every industry out there. Right. Yes. Definitely benefit all of us in lodging, right? Getting that $1 trillion out there, helping, whether it's roads, airports, bridges, whatever, it's going to help everyone in lodging. We need that. And the immigration, we all need help. And AHLA is doing an amazing job advocating on our behalf, pushing that message, driving, that awareness. AHOA is extraordinarily active out there trying to drive and get attention at the state level, the local level, even at the federal level. So the organizations, the associations are doing all the good work. I would just love to learn more. And if we could learn a little bit more early in 23, then perhaps we could impact change late in 23 or going through 24 and beyond. So that for me is, what I'm like really anxious about.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we've got a hotel industry statesman we're interviewing here.
I know.
Speaks with the passion of someone who's, really watching things closely and has a vision. I love it.
I know. I feel like you should be wearing some ceremonial robes while delivering that sermon over there.
I could do that.
I still have the ceremonial robe you gave me, the no vacancy.
Right. Done. That was nice.
That was awesome.
next broadcast, will you wear it, Glenn? I've never seen the ceremony.
Oh yeah. It's freaking great. Yeah. Anything else for our lovely guests here?
I've got one, but it's personal one. Rob,
Mm-hmm.
This is about technology and it's about innovation. What's your preferred tech? What can you not do without on it? Is it Netflix? Is it your mobile phone? How do you use tech in your own life, and what's your must-have?
Yeah, I need a tutorial on how to work the new Apple TV remote control. I just got Apple TV. I'm so analog. I'm so like old school and stuff. We finally moved to YouTube TV and Apple TV and all that. And I'm just trying to learn that as it's kind of like my job now. But all those years everybody kept telling me I should have it because I should watch Ted Lasso. Finally, I get it. Funniest show ever. Yeah. But it's got to be, I mean, obviously I'm joined at the hip, literally and figuratively with my iPhone. So I'd say that's critical.
Terry Palleschi, are you listening? He needs an Apple manual under the tree this year. Right? Help the man out. The industry depends on it.
Awesome. Rob Palleschi, how can we learn more about G6 and, maybe getting a Tech Forward franchise with you guys?
Awesome. That'd be fantastic.
Well, how do you tell us how to find you guys?
Find us is just contact me directly. That's the easiest. I'll point you to the right people. One-stop shop, Palleschi _Rob at G6 Hospitality, Palleschi _Rob at G6 hospitality.com.
Beautiful. He also accepts requests via Harry Potter owls and carrier pigeons. So,
ooh, nice.
I don't know where this Hollywood came thing on this.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
I think perfect. Well, it's the looks, right? It's the incredible looks.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what sends them over the edge. It's it has to be that.
Every single time. I'm starstruck. Rob Palleschi, thanks so much for being here. I'll see you out at Alice. Have a good one.
Yeah, Alice, right around the corner. See you both soon.
Thank you, Glenn. I guess this is the last time we will see each other. On this broadcast for 2022. Best of holidays to you, my friend. Enjoy, and let's keep it going in 2023. There's lots to talk about.
Yes, happy holidays to everybody. And remember, all you want for Christmas is more episodes of Hotel Tech Innovators and Influencers in the new year. See you all then. Bye-bye.